Spoiler alert, I'm not a student here. If I was trying to be, then I'd probably look like an undercover cop. Yeah. But my name's Bide Akande, and I'm somewhat in the monkey business. I'll start to explain. You see, I'm actually an attorney. And I'm what they call a litigator. So I spend most of my time in court arguing in front of judges or drafting motions and pleadings. And to become an attorney, it took a lot of hard work. It took 7 years of school after high school. It took a lot of reading, and plenty of exams. Actually, here's my hot girl summer of 2015. Studying for the bar exam, and look how happy I look. Just look at me. But believe it or not, I wasn't brought here today to speak to you about my profession as an attorney, but to speak to you about my original profession. That's incorrect. That's the wrong slide. That's the correct slide. See, I'll explain. Before I was ever an attorney, I was winged monkey number 2. And I grew up in a time called the 90s. And it looks like most people here haven't heard of that. So I will explain what that is. The 90s were a time where the national anthem was Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit. To access Netflix, you'd have to drive to a store called Blockbuster. And literally everyone on the entire planet looked like this. That's actually a picture of me and my dad. Now, since this was a pre-internet age, mostly, there were no real ways to keep myself entertained with social media or memes. So I'd have to create my own memes, like break all the garage doors and windows with rocks, or break all the house windows with rocks, or breakdance in the house to rock, and then break everything in the house with rocks. That was basically my meme. And my parents started to get fed up with replacing the windows, and they found out that they needed to have a way to keep me out of the house. So they found a children's theater program in 1997, and they were doing a production of The Wizard of Oz. And I was cast as winged monkey number 2. That's me with the hat right there. It's a cute hat. I loved being winged monkey number 2. Because unlike winged monkey number 1, I didn't have any lines. So I just had to go out there, jump around with a lot of energy, and make monkey noises. And I was like, dude, I'm 8. I was literally going to do that anyway. And, the role was perfect for me. Because, I was loud, I was rambunctious, and I have severe ADHD. So it was just like, perfect. And I remember the night before I went out on stage, after I'd finished my Lunchable and a Capri Sun, I told my mom, "Mom, watch me go out there and get this monkey bread." And that's what I did. And that was the most fun I'd had up until that point as an 8-year-old kid. And I had an outlet for my energy, and now my parents had a way to save money on garage windows. So I wanted to keep that same energy moving forward. And I decided then and there that I was going to dedicate all of my free time to straight up monkey business. So I started volunteering everywhere that I could, performing at libraries, at nursing homes, at theater programs, in school. It's a picture of me and my younger brother. I just included this because he looks like a freaking weirdo here. and my siblings started to actually join in. And I kept performing as much as I could for the next 9 years of my life, all the way up until my junior year of high school. And it was infectious. And I probably would have kept that same energy forever. But then, the summer of my junior year of high school, we moved. And we moved to this terrible, godforsaken place called the Chicago suburbs. Scouts? And suddenly, it was my senior year of high school, and I was supposed to have my network of friends and the activities and everything that I had grown comfortable with, and it was all just sort of torn away from me. And I can remember the first day of lunch, or the first day of school, I was actually trying to find a seat for lunch, and I didn't know where to sit, which is the most cliche 90s trope ever. And that went on for about a week, until I overheard some kids talking about something called a Renaissance Fair. And they said, hey, there are these people in Wisconsin who will pay you to act like an idiot. So I said, oh yeah, it's time to get this monkey bread. And off I went. I finished my Lunchable and my Capri Sun, and I drove up to Wisconsin for auditions. And the thing was, I didn't know you were supposed to prepare anything for auditions, so I just went in and goofed off, and they loved it. And I spent that entire summer doing stuff like this. Just performing in front of people, playing the drums, getting that same energy that I had as a winged monkey. And then I took this energy back to high school, and I made a lot of friends that I'm still friends with today. It was my best year of high school that I had ever had. And then college came. And college was weird for me. You know, I wasn't the best student, probably because I goofed off a lot. And the thing was that this was my first real taste of independence. The classes were harder. And I don't know if you know this, but colleges, they have these special zoos. I believe they're called fraternity houses. And I would skip class all the time to go to those zoos. Because the zoos had a Nintendo 64 with the original Super Smash Brothers and all the free monkey juice you could drink. And I loved monkey juice, okay? Like even more than Capri Sun. And that's saying something. But after my first semester of college, I kind of got on something called academic probation. Now, if you don't know what academic probation is, it basically means you're about to fail out of school because of your grades. And I can remember how disappointed I was with that. Because my whole life, I had seen some kind of version of success. I had seen that people who don't do well in college or who don't go on to work in the working world, they're not going to be successful. They're going to struggle. They're going to fail. And for me, I felt a guilt at all the monkey juice and all the monkey business that I was doing and how it was distracting from my education and my success. So I decided then and there that I was just going to drop monkey business entirely, that I was out. I needed to focus on my grades, my future. Fast forward a couple years, it's my junior year of college. My grades are up, cool. I'm doing well academically, cool. I passed the bar, or passed the LSAT entrance exam to get into law school, cool. But at the same time, something else was happening. It was getting harder for me to get out of bed in the morning. I noticed that friends that I had made my first 2 years of college, I was shutting them down, not hanging out with them. And generally, I just felt really low about myself. I knew something was wrong, so I went to a doctor, and she referred me to a psychiatrist, and she said that I had depression. And I was like, yo, what's depression? She said, well, okay, you're from the 90s, right? Rambunctious guy from the 90s. Your depression looks something like this. Emphasis on the whatever. And honestly, that is kind of how my depression looked. If you knew me and saw me on the outside, you would never even think that anything was wrong. I was running around, I was laughing, but behind that mask, inside, I really felt more like whatever. And things, a couple months went by, things got worse before they got better. And one night, after drinking a little too much monkey juice, I found that I had climbed up to the top of one of the buildings on campus. And I was up there, sitting on the ledge, and just wondering, like, would anyone suspect anything if I just happened to fall off? And I was sitting there thinking that when it felt like something climbed up onto my back and shoulders. And I heard a voice, and it was me as an 8-year-old winged monkey number 2. And he said, ooh, ooh, ah, ah, as monkeys are like to do. But I knew that meant, what's wrong? So I told him, I don't really feel like existing anymore. And also, I'm enrolled in a critical race theory class right now, and I think it's kind of problematic that we're making these associations with people of color and monkeys. And the 8-year-old winged monkey number 2 in my head said, first of all, your concern is valid, and I applaud your newfound wokeness and encourage you to continue your studies into what is a very serious topic. But may I remind you that I am literally playing the role of a monkey, so maybe don't read too much into it. And then the monkey said, and then on another note, I don't understand why you'd feel like you had to fall off this building. Because when I was on your back, you had wings. And for some reason, that struck a chord with me. That winged monkey was woke. I had, for so long, been treating aspects of my life as if it was just a monkey on my back, right? As if it wasn't a pursuit worth taking part in. And that whole time, I failed to realize that some of the things that I was doing with my life were really what were giving me joy and making life truly worth living. So I climbed down from the building, I went back to my apartment, I went to bed. And the next morning, I woke up, I had a Lunchable with a Capri Sun, and I decided it was time to get that monkey bread. I looked for performance opportunities. I started going back to plays. And eventually I started performing everywhere. I made a web series with one of my friends. Ended up getting me a part at Second City. Ended up working at Second City, and suddenly I'm doing stupid sketches about Barbecue Jones. I don't even know what that is. You know, blaxploitation flick Barbecue Jones. I was in a Starbucks commercial for, I don't know, I drink Capri Sun. And I continue performing to this day. And actually, here's probably one of the coolest moments. This is me on the Second City cast after performing, and Steve Carell happened to come by, Steve and Nancy Carell, which was great, because now I got to do monkey business in front of one of my all-time favorite performance monkeys, you know? So you're probably thinking, all right, so what's the point of this? What's the point of the talk? Are you trying to say that the cure to depression is performing? And no, I think that would be naive to say. The only thing that I'm really trying to say is I'm trying to tell you a personal story, a personal anecdote of my life, where I learned that any life worth living should include a healthy amount of monkey business. Because even when it feels like the things that give you joy could be a monkey on your back, just remember it could be a winged monkey trying to carry you off of that ledge. Thanks.